Hey, good morning, everyone. Gary here. It's a Tuesday morning. What is it, the 14th today? 14th of April? God, this year's flying. Anyway, today's topic of the conversation, the show is going to be called Ground Beef. It's kind of an offshoot from the last one I did, Old School. You guys should call it Old School Part 2, but it's not Part 2. It's just about ground beef. Ground beef in the grocery industry, in the meat industry, sales-wise, is the most popular selling item in America. I don't know about the world, but it is in America. Any given day, you go to any grocery store in America, the ground beef section is usually inundated with people or buying up all the ground beef off the shelf, or it's blown out. You get to any store after 5 o'clock at night, and the ground beef section is blown out. Looks like a ghost town. It's because the night clerks don't put shit out. That's the problem with America right now. The workforce. The good workers are there in the daytime. They stock the shelves and they can make them nice and full. But after 3 o'clock when we all go home, well, I'm not working anymore, but when I did, the night guys just sit around and play with themselves, play on their phones. They don't care if the floor is empty. But I'm getting off topic, which I do a lot of. I apologize. Ground beef, in my opinion, the stuff that's coming in these days, and you've seen it across the country, it's pre-made in a site off. It's a, how do I want to put this? It's manufactured, mass-produced in warehouse plants somewhere in the country. I don't know exactly where they make this stuff. But it comes in all uniform packaging. All 1 pound packages. Made by robots somewhere on an assembly line. They have ground sirloin, ground round, ground chuck. And then the cheap stuff, the regular ground beef. They don't call it ground chuck. The outside of these packaging will say ground round, ground sirloin, ground chuck on the pre-packed stuff. That's 1 pound packaging. And then they have what they call flavor seal. It comes in a tube. It's usually on the bottom of the shelf. Like the pre-packed stuff that I was just talking about is on the top shelf, the second and third layer, the shelving. And the very bottom, they have these tubes. You can't see the ground beef. But they won't call it ground chuck. They'll have 80%. It'll say 80% ground beef, and then it'll have a blue package. It'll say, 93% ground beef, 85% ground beef. And I said to one of my meat merchandisers years ago, I said, why do they call it 80%? Why don't they just call it ground chuck? He goes, because maybe it's not ground chuck in there. That's the key word. Maybe it's not ground chuck. It could be anything. It could be any combination of meats that equates to 80% leanness, which is ground chuck. But it's not ground chuck, so they can't call it ground chuck. Are you following what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is, in the old days, when I first started out as a young cutter, they had labeling in the service case that said ground chuck, ground sirloin, ground round. And they still have it like that. But the stuff that we're getting in now is pre-made. It's been pre-made forever. They come in bulk, and these bulk trays in flavor seal packages. They're like vacuum sealed packages. You can see the ground beef inside. It's in like 5 pound sections. You slit it open with a razor knife. You take it out, you slide it in the tray, you slide it in the service case, and people that shop in the grocery stores, they say, well, the stuff in the service case is fresh. No, it's not. It comes in from a warehouse somewhere in the United States. Somewhere it's made somewhere in a warehouse. It's the same shit that we keep on the sales floor. in the 1 pound packages. I'm here to tell you what's going on in America right now. Old school, back when I was in my early 30s, 40s, and even my early 50s, everything was ground fresh in the back, in the grinder, in the mill, in the grinding mill. The stuff on the floor was ground fresh, and the stuff in the service case was ground fresh. Now, mind you, back when I first learned how to cut meat, they came in giant tubes, but it was labeled ground chuck. You slit the package open, you dump it in the mill, you grind it through, and you make it and grind it in packages, and you send it down a line. Those were the old days. It was labeled ground round. It was labeled ground sirloin. It was labeled ground chuck. You slit the package open, dump it in the mill, the grinder, and it comes out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go on YouTube and type in grinding machines for ground beef, and it will show you the old school way. I don't have a machine. I can't show you what it is. But back in the day, they had a grinder machine. A mill, we called it, a grinding mill. And it squeezes out all the ground beef, and you collect it in your hand, you put it in a tray. Of course, not your bare hand. You had gloves on for sanitation reasons. I'm getting ahead of myself. What I'm saying is the stuff that's on the shelf that sells like hotcakes, when it goes on sale, people buy it up like it's going out of style. They've had to get used to it because the first time they tried this shit, it wasn't the same as it used to be. Well, it tastes okay, I guess. Honey, do you like the way it tastes? I guess it tastes okay. And they got used to it. It's not the same. And they're lying to themselves. You out there, Americans, you're lying to yourselves if you know, if you're in your 80s, 70s, 60s, or 50s, you know the difference between the old school ground beef and the new shit they're putting on the shelf. That's all they're putting on the shelf these days is the new shit. Why, you ask? Because the workforce is diminishing. There are no meat cutters anymore. They aren't training them anymore. Why? Because kids today don't want to work. They'd rather be in the basement of their mommy's house playing video games. Truthfully, when I was coming up in the meat department, there was a line of guys out the door with their own knives waiting to get in the door of the company I worked for. It was a hot job. To be a union cutter, a union meat cutter, we made good money. We made good fucking money. Those days are over. The guys that are going out to pasture like myself, the guys that I know that are still working, they're getting ready to retire. There's no one coming up from behind them anymore learning how to cut. So that's why all this pre-packed stuff is coming in. And we're talking about ground beef today. I would never buy that shit and put it in my frying pan. I tried it one time when they first offered it. That stuff's been coming into our stores over 10 years now. I don't know exactly how long. It's been over 10 years. Not more than 20 years. So right in there. I say, let's just say maybe 15 years now it's been coming in our stores. It sells like hotcakes. I brought home a package of ground sirloin easily 10 years ago just to try it. Just to see what it was all about. Took it out of the package, slid it open with a knife, threw in the frying pan, and I got my spatula and I'm breaking it up. I knew right away it wasn't the same as old school ground sirloin because old school ground beef of any kind, you throw it in a pan to break it up for like if you're going to put it in your sauce. Because I would put it in my lasagna or I would put it in my spaghetti sauce because I like to cook. It didn't break up like old school. Old school ground beef was happy to break up because it was ground fresh every day. This stuff, it's wiry. It's like breaking up rope. You got to really smash it and break it up and cut it with a knife to break it up. What's it made out of? What is that? Is it really ground sirloin? Or is it from a possum? Does it come from raccoon meat? Possum meat? Probably not. But I mean, where are they getting it? What animal is it coming from? Is it coming from horse? Is it coming from a cow? Is it coming from a bull? Is it coming from a calf? Is it coming from... What's it coming from? They don't say. All they're saying is the percentage of this stuff is 80%, 90%, 85%. They aren't telling you where it's coming from. We're assuming it's coming from cow. I mean, it probably is, right? It probably is. It's not coming from horse. It's not horse meat. But I'm not going to confirm or deny it is or isn't. I don't know. Because like that guy told me one day, that merchandiser I talked to one day, goes, well, we can't guarantee it's actually all chuck. That's what he said to me. I'm not lying. He said that to me. Well, I don't know if it's, we don't know. We just know it's 80% of ground beef. I'm here to tell you right now, because this program can go long, but I'm not going to, I want to try to get this thing through because I got things I got to do today. And I'm carless. My car's in the shop, but I got things I do. If you still want it done right, every grocer in America still has a grinding mill behind the scenes in the meat room. If you want to do it right, the best meat to use for hamburgers on the grill, or sauce for your spaghetti, or ground beef for your lasagna, or whatever, beef stroganoff, whatever, that you're going to be using ground beef for your chili. Any grocery store in America, they still have a grinding machine in the back. Go on the floor and get yourself a whole chuck roast. Buy a couple of chuck roasts. Get them like 2 pounds worth of chuck roast. Or you can get a chuck roast already packaged up out there. If you don't know what it looks like, have your butcher come out and say, I need a ground. Can you point me to a chuck roast out here? They'll be happy to take you to it. If you want something leaner, get yourself a bottom roast. That comes off the leg. A bottom round roast is going to be like, 85% lean. 90% lean right in there. Want something leaner, get yourself a sirloin tip roast. That's going to be lean. That's going to be 90% lean. Take it up to the counter, to your butcher, say, would you be so kind? And be nice about it, because it's a pain in the ass for these guys to stop what they're doing. But they'll do it for you. Be nice. Say, would you be so kind as to take this in the back and run it through your grinding machine a couple times for me? I want it fresh. They'll be happy to do it for you if you're nice about it. They have to put the machine together because it's not always together. It's in pieces, but they'll put it together for you. It takes them 2 seconds to put it together, and they'll chop it up in pieces for you, and they'll run it through the mill 2 times. Get it nice and fine, and they'll bring it out for you. Here you go. Have a nice day. They'll be happy to do it for you. Any grocer in America, any mom and pops in America will do it for you. They'll be happy to do it for you. And I suggest if you want it for your lasagna, your hamburgers are on the grill, your chili, go with the ground chuck. So go buy yourself a chuck roast. Bring it to the counter. Say, can you run this through the mill for me? They'll be happy to do it for you. That's the freshest you're going to get. That's the best you're going to get. I would never buy that shit on the floor. It's not the same as real ground chuck. A chuck roast. Leave a comment on my site. Say, hey, Gary, where can I go? I live in Cincinnati. Where can I go? I'll be happy to reply to your comment. I'll be happy to give you the name of a company to go to. But if you go to any company in America that still has a mill, because they all have mills in the back, they'll grind it up for you. They'll do it. There's a meat cutter on site in every grocery chain in America. They'll do it for you. They'll be happy to do it for you. But I wouldn't buy that pre-packed shit. No. And if you're forced to buy the pre-packed shit, buy the Flavor Seal stuff on the bottom. People call that ghetto rolls. It's a term they use because it's sealed in plastic and you can't see the ground beef. That's the freshest you're going to get. That is the purest form of ground beef you're going to get. It says 80%. It's an orange pack. Most stores have it in an orange pack or a white pack. But it'll say 80% ground beef. If you want the freshest stuff you can get your hands on and you don't have all day to wait for someone in the back to grind something for you, buy that Flavor Seal. That's the purest form of ground beef you're going to get. Of wherever it comes from, but it's 80% ground beef. It's not horse meat. I was kidding when I said that. It comes off of a giant grinding machine somewhere, a house somewhere. They spew it out into these packages. They seal the ends with metal, and they send it to. Then they package it and they send it to the said grocery chains around the country. I've used that stuff in a pinch. It's good. It's the purest form of ground beef you're going to get. The stuff in the service case in all these grocery chains in America, it comes in the same packaging as the shit on the floor, the pre-packed stuff. Don't buy that stuff. It's not the same. Is it edible? Yes. Does it taste decent? It's okay. Buy the Flavor Seal. Buy the ghetto roll, they call it. I turned more shoppers onto that stuff than I could shake a stick at, and they always came back and they said, hey, Gary, you know something? You're right. That stuff's way better than that stuff on the shelf. It is. I'm not lying to you. I'm being truthful. In closing, because I want to get off of here. In closing, a friend of mine said to me, Gary, can you show me what you used to use when you cut meat? You talk about all the time, you talk about cutting meat, and you use the knife. This is what it is. I had one. They gave me one when I retired. This is a 9-inch blade. It's Dexter steel. I keep this thing sharp as sharp can be. I still use it at home for a lot of stuff that I cut meat with at home. Or if I'm cutting chicken breast up, I still use that. Before I left the company I worked for, they gave me one. Yeah. And I cut with it on everything. And a bunch of guys that I worked with in other companies, they got one. It's awful nice of them to give me one. But that's what I used when I was a cutter, when I was a butcher. But yeah, ground beef, be discriminating when you're buying it. Do your homework. Is it worth buying the stuff on the shelf? No. Buy the stuff that the butcher makes behind the scenes or the Flavor Seal rolls. Every company in America, every grocery chain in America carries these Flavor Seal rolls. They're on the bottom part of the ground beef section. You'll thank me in the long run. You'll thank me. That's all I got. This thing's going close to 19 minutes. God damn it. Sorry it went so long today, but I felt it was important to talk about it. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's going to be beautiful in Cincinnati today. The rain's supposed to rain tomorrow in the afternoon, but I don't care. I'm going to go out for a walk a little bit, so I exercise daily. Got to take care of myself. I'm a single dude. No one else is going to do it for me. That's all I got. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a fantastic day. Peace out.